Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I got my good buddy and friend, David S.J. You haven't seen him in a long time. He's back up from New York and we're going to do a couple of demos today. Today we're going to take a look and a listen at the new Audio-Scape DA3A, which is a 2U, 2-rack. You'll see it on the screen here. Replica of the old classic LA3A, but in stereo, in dual mono, with a couple extra features. So we're going to listen to it today. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to give you our opinions. We haven't really listened to it yet, so you're going to get our natural reaction. And that's what we're going to do in this video. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and also make sure you go out to mixingmusicanalog.com. And yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. Welcome back, buddy.
Thanks, man. It's good to be back again. It's been a while.
It's been a long time. So we're here doing some videos today, and this is a new unit from Audio-Scape. Well, kind of a new unit, not really new, in that the DA3A has been around. They called it the VA3A, which is the 500 series LA3A modules, which I've had in my rack here for a while. You've seen some YouTube videos on them.
Yeah.
Recently, at the, I guess around the middle or end of 2023, Audio-Scape decided that they were going to take that unit, basically the same circuit, because it is an LA3A, and put it in the classic chassis, because everyone wanted the classic chassis to look at the LA3A, which is what they did. So they basically took that 500 series module, which I'm told is the same circuit, that's what's in this, and put it into the classic 19-inch rack space. And that's what they did here. And the original LA3A was just a mono unit. And lots of studios would have two mono units that they would kind of daisy chain together and put it in kind of a custom rack to put it into the rack. And this is all built into one unit. Really cool.
They also used to have, I don't know when they discontinued, but they had a single space rack with the two 500 units basically built into it like that.
Oh, that's right. I think they still have that.
Yeah.
So they do have it's a 1U, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 1U.
It's a 1U where they took that 500 series unit and they flipped it on its side, put it in, and it was stereo dual mono. And I had that as well with some other features in it. I've never used that one.
But the advantage of the two space unit is the fact that you've got a much bigger VU meter, much easier to see, bigger controls all the way around, you know, and like I said, and in this one they did add a few extra features because they had the space for it now.
Yeah, and it looks cool.
So, yeah. And it does look cool.
And it looks cool.
Unfortunately, you don't want, the visual to be the thing, but, you do kind of want it to look cool.
I know, I like it.
Yeah,
So we're going to take a listen to it today. We're going to tweak around on it and on a couple of different sources. So again, full disclosure, Audio-Scape did send us this unit so we could bring this review to you, but they're not paying me for the video. No one pays me for any videos in cash, and they don't see the video before it goes live. And our opinions are our own. And anyone that's been watching our channel for a long enough time, they know we're going to tell you what the real deal is here. So we're going to listen to this. We're going to start off on a pair of acoustic guitars. And we'll walk through the features quick. We have two acoustic guitars here coming down to two separate channels. We're going to run this in dual mono. This can run dual mono or it can run stereo. We're going to start off with dual mono. The session and the audio examples that you're going to be listening to today come from the artist James D. Cooler. You want to check his links in the description box below because he's a killer artist with some killer songs, and we're going to unsolo these acoustics and give you guys a listen to maybe a verse and a chorus so you can check out James's music. And oddly enough, this particular song, which is called Smile, is the actual session that I used in the Mixing Masterclass Volume 2. Links will be in the description box below. That's coming out July 15th, 2024. Depending on when you guys are watching this video, you'll be able to get not only these multi-track sessions, so you can mix this during the course, but if you get the pro level package, you get a second set of multi-tracks from James D. Cooler as well, which is very cool. So let's listen to maybe the second verse and the first chorus here, or first verse, first chorus. Why don't we try that? Yeah. Of James D. Cooler. Here's Smile, and then we'll solo up some acoustics and we'll get into the DA3A. Here we go.
Together we're so strong in the warning lights, no matter how far where we go. 'Cause I see your smile in this little frame, but the sun won't shine on me until we meet again. We're in a world of war, feels like that I'm depressed. You get me through my scare of death. And it's a new day, darling.
So there we go. So there's James D. Cooler Smile. Again, click the link in the description box if you'd like to mix the song for yourself. All the information is there. This session as it sits right now is just lightly EQ'd on the console, panned and some faders thrown up. It's not completely mixed. The only hardware that we are using outside of the DA3A is on the master bus, where we're using the SSL, the console G-Bus compressor EQ, as well as the Neve master bus transformer for a little bit of silk and a touch of stereo widening. There is no other hardware on this session anywhere else. So we're going to start off with these pair of acoustics here. So we have a pair of acoustics here in the chorus section coming up, and we're coming in on the DA3A. So if we take a look at the DA3A, and we'll put it up on the screen here. So basically what we have here is we have a left and a right channel. Pretty simple, right? So we have a gain here, peak reduction, makeup gain. We have a bypass switch on each side. We have the way we can either view the meter, either with gain reduction or the output. We have it on gain reduction. We have the stereo adjust knob. Now this stereo adjust knob is a new feature added to this particular product. And tell everyone what that does, Dave.
The stereo adjust is when you're in link mode. So in other words, when you're in stereo, if one side is compressing more than the other, the stereo adjust lets you balance the gain reduction between the two sides of the compressor.
Right.
So like if one side is compressing, if one side is getting hit at like 4 or 5 and the other one is getting 2 or 3 at the same settings, you can use the stereo adjust to level those two out to the same gain
like
reduction.
a stereo overheads or stereo room track, something like that, where you may be a little heavy-handed to one side. So each side has that as well. We also have a high-frequency sidechain filter here on both channels. You can either put this in compression mode or limit mode, which is cool. You have a little link button here, so if you want to link them, that will put it in stereo, or in this particular example, we're going to go dual mono, and then you can bypass the unit right here and take away the gain reduction, or in our case, we can just do it right here on the console. I'll probably do it on the unit so people can see when it's coming in and out. So let's start with these things out. So we'll bypass the compressor right now. We have it in on a pair of acoustic guitars, and we're doing about 3 to 5 dB of compression. Here's what it is, and then I'll turn it on, turn it off so people can hear it. Here we go. So you go. I mean, it's LA3A. I mean, that's that's what an LA3A sounds like.
Yeah, they are amazing.
Amazing. So what I like about LA3As and why I like them on guitars, and we'll listen to electrics. That's where I think you said the same thing.
Yeah, they really go their best.
But what I like what you hear it on the acoustic really well is it really brings out the top presence and the chime.
Yes.
Which I really like. It's got that mid-forward, kind of upper mid kind of push that just brings out a little more clarity to those guitars.
And what I caught there too is like it's leveling out the transients, but it's not eliminating them.
Right.
You know, so because like he is hitting that guitar pretty hard. Yeah. So like when the compressor's out, those transients are very pokey. But it's leveling the transients out, but it's not eliminating them.
Right.
So which is really nice.
Yeah. Well, like conversely to like an LA2A, this is really the solid state version of an LA2A in essence, as the LA2A with the tubes does the exact opposite usually of what you just said, is it would really kind of round off that transient in a way, which sometimes is desirable. And in an LA2A is a little bit more gooey and a little bit more warm.
Yeah, which is why it's good for bass and vocals and things like that.
Yeah. These things are great.
These things are great on, like you said, like the chimey, sustainy, high transient that you don't want to round that transient off. That's really nice at that. You know? And too, like when you're switching it in, like when it's out, there's a bit of a low mid nasally quality to that track. Without messing with the EQ, just putting that in, that low mid nasally quality goes away. Maybe not so much as eliminating that, but it's pushing that high mid. To overcome that. I mean, it is that's an EQ in a box.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, compressors are in general anyway, but yeah, that does really, really well. So maybe I'll over compress it a little more just so people can really hear what happens if you want to grab it.
Yeah.
So we'll do that now. So let me go ahead and I'll over compress it and we'll take it in and out. So here we go. So I mean, there we're doing almost 10 dB of compression.
Yeah.
So it's a little much.
Yeah, it's overemphasizing that mid now.
But it's still usable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's always been the thing with hardware compressors. Anyways, you can push them harder than you can a plug-in.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And they still sound good. You know, like,
and you don't get that real pumping and breathing effect as much as you would think. Like when I think of an LA3A plug-in, like the Universal Audio one or whatever, the one I would typically use, if you hit it that hard, you can hear it kind of doing this. Yeah. You don't really hear that here.
Yeah, and it also sponges out a lot. Like when you push the plug in hard, it gets very spongy.
Yep.
And this is like, you were hitting a 10 and it was
almost
like, 10. Yeah, it was like I said, it was overemphasizing that mid push, but it still was a usable sound.
Right, sure, for sure,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to unpatch this, and we'll patch it into, I don't know, you want to take one of these sort of guitars?
Yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of them to play with.
Yeah, we have a nice kind of a mid-crunch here, which is cool, and then we have a set of heavies. So give us a second, we'll do that, and then we'll be right back at you. Okay, we're back. So now we're patched in on a pair of what, like a kind of mid-crunch, not real heavy, overdriven guitars.
Yep.
We got it patched in here. Again, there's a little bit of light EQ on it, and that's it. So again, we're still running it in dual mono. These are a pair of guitars, but they're performed two separate times. So it's not a track that was copy and pasted. He played it twice. So there's some slight variation in the playing, which is cool. So let me, we'll dial in and see what we got. Got the insert buttons in, insert buttons in. Here we go. A little bit of crunch guitars.
Yeah, there we go. That's where they live. You know?
That's the electric. Same thing. It's got that kind of mid-range push.
It opens up the upper mids, gives you a little more top end. It just and it just like, because I know you had that pretty well gained match too, but like when you bring that in, it just pushes them like right there. You know, I mean, they're right in front of you.
Yeah, electric guitars is somewhere where I've always used LA3s. In the box, it was always plugins, and in the hardware world, it's always the hardware.
Yeah.
So that's doing about 3 to 5 3-ish dB.
Yeah.
Okay, let me hit it a little harder. Let's just see what it does. Let's see how it breaks. How much can you push it before it kind of breaks down?
Yep.
So there we go. So we're gonna a little bit longer of a section of music here, and we'll tweak it in. Here we go. Yeah, so now we're compressing 7, 8 dB of compression.
Yeah, which I would never do.
Yeah, well,
in a mix, but
yeah, maybe not never, but I hear what you mean. I mean, again, what I like about it is that it doesn't break down. You don't get that grabby thing, that pumpy thing that you would get with the plug-in.
And it also doesn't give it that smashed sound.
No, not at all. No. It's still very usable. So, and again, these are just not real super heavy, but they're crunched enough. So they've already got compression on them. And they're not, it's not like big time palm muting or anything like that. Yeah. It's just chords, right?
Yeah.
So,
nice sustained chords. Yeah.
But it sounds really good. I mean, so if you guys want us to compare this to a plug-in, 20 comments below. Tell us that you want us to do that, and we will do that in a future video. We can do that just for the fun of it. But so let us know below. So that's Crunch Guitars. Let's try, you want to try a drum bus?
Let's do the drum bus.
Let's do the drum bus. So give us a second. We'll patch it in. We'll see what it does on drums. We'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back. So now we're on a drum bus here. So we have a kick, snare, hats, tom 1 and 2 overheads, and 2 sets of rooms, all going to a drum bus. There is no other hardware compression-wise on any individual channels. It's just EQ'd. So let's put the LA3A on the drum bus and see what it is. So we're still running it kind of in that dual mono mode because we got a lot of panning here, so we can kind of even it out.
Yeah.
And we'll start with some milds, what we would normally do on drum bus, and then we'll crank it up. Okay. Here we go. Here's some drums. Let me go back to the beginning of the loop here.
There you go.
There we go. Here we go.
Hit it.
There you go. So we're doing about almost 5 dB, 4 dB-ish of compression on that.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that was when we did this test with the VA3s, the 500 series unit a long time ago. We did a drum bus video where we did a bunch of compressors. And that was one that surprised me because I never thought to put LA3s.
Yeah, because when you think drum bus compressor, you don't think LA3A.
I never considered it, to be honest. But I like it. And again, it's that, you know what it is? It's that upper mid, that forward push in the mids that really brings out the warmth of the drums.
Yeah. And it also was bringing out more of the room.
Yeah. Cause you asked me, is there reverb on this? There's no reverb on these
when it's
drums.
running, like this sounds like the reverb. So that natural reverb on the rooms was just being really not, but like blown up, but not badly. It's like just giving you that nice space around it.
Yeah.
You want on that.
And I like what it does to the snare.
Yes.
Brings out the real nice fatness to me of that snare.
Which again, like I said before with the acoustic guitars, like it's not killing the transients. Right. It's just making everything smoother, Yeah. It's weird how, I don't know how it does it, but it's weird how it does it, but it's, like I said, I never would consider an LA3A on there until you did it the first time. I was like, they sound amazing on a drum bus.
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of surprised me too. So that's probably a little heavy. I'll put a little back off the compression a little bit, and then I'll over compress it a little so you guys can just hear, again, what does it do as far as now we got some real transient heavy material.
Yeah.
How does it, especially when you over compress it, how does it grab? Okay, so here we go. So we'll just keep your eye on the meters and you'll figure it all out, everybody. Here we go. So that's about 7-ish dB of compression.
If you were looking for a drum crush track that was going to emphasize the top end and the space,
like a parallel drum,
like a parallel drum, that would be really good. But I think when you hit it hard, all the low end was gone.
Yeah, and it also brings out, it gets rid, the hi-hats get very splashy. You know, it's a little too much. In this particular example, it's a little too much.
Yeah, but if you were looking for a parallel, if you needed to take a drum track and you needed to add more of that high end sizzle and space to it, put that on a crush track. That would be really good.
Yeah, but at the lower compression, like that 2 dB,
it was natural,
very great.
Yeah,
I love it, and again, I just love the way it brings out some more of the room, and it brings out the warmth of the snare. Quite a bit.
Yeah, and it was a little more natural than you were at like 4 or 5.
Yeah, right.
A little more natural sounding.
Right.
So like for a bus. Definitely more appropriate.
Oh yeah, that was overcooked. But just to show you what it can do.
It makes an amazing drum bus compressor.
It does. I think it sounds really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Yep. Okay, so the last thing we want to do, then we'll end this video, is maybe we just put it like on a lead vocal. Why don't you just put it solo up?
Yeah.
James's vocal, because every singer likes to have their vocal in solo with no effects on it in a YouTube video.
Yeah, because they live for that.
So we're gonna patch it in on James's vocal. We'll just use one side of the compressor and you can kind of hear what it does to vocals.
Yep.
Be right back. Okay, we're back. So last part of this test or this demo is we're gonna put it on James's lead vocal. So his lead vocal has a tiny bit of EQ on it, and there's a little bit of reverb on it. And that's it. So we're just gonna be using the left side of the LA3 or the DA3 because we're just running it on one channel. So let's just mess around with it. Here we go.
Last gunfires. Here comes my final breath, but the last thing in my mind is your smile in this little frame. Now the sun is shining on me, but I never see you again. I see your smile in this little frame. Now the sun is shining on me, but I never see you again. Together we're so strong in the warning light. No matter how far and where we go.
There you go. So that's LA3A or DA3A on a lead vocal. So again, it does what you were saying on the acoustic guitar. That first transient of the first phrase.
Yeah.
It grabs a transient, but it doesn't sound crushed. It sounds natural. And again, it's got that, again, I keep saying that mid thing that pushes it nice. So it just helps.
When he goes into that vocal fry on the sustained notes and he hits that vocal fry, it's pushing that fry, but not in a bad way.
No, it sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, it really does a nice job on that.
It sounds great. And you know what we should do? Maybe for this one, unsolo that. Let's put that in the mix and I'll flip it in and out. Well, let's just balance it a little and just see. Yeah, turn it down a little bit. And so here comes the verse 3 into chorus 3, and I'll just mess around with it. I'll take it in and out. So you can kind of see how it sits in with the rest of the mix.
And it's just on the lead vocal, not any of the background vocals or anything else.
Yeah, so. You know what? As a matter of fact, we can cut the background vocals right out. Okay. So there's only the lead vocals, and actually take the parallel out as well. So it's just his lead vocal, no background vocals or anything.
And the Vox double is out too. Okay.
Yeah, take that out too.
Yep, that's out too.
And take down the backgrounds. There you go. So we're just lead vocal with music.
Go for it.
Here we go.
And when the last gun fires, here comes my final breath. But the last thing in my mind is your smile in this little frame. Now the sun is shining on me, but I never see you again. I see your smile in this little frame. Now the sun is shining on me, but I never see you again. Together we're so strong in the warning light. No matter how far, where the web.
So it really helps it sit in that mix.
Yes.
Really, that's really nice. The way it sits in that mix. You can hear it on those last 3 lines where it's a little bit more quiet. You can really hear how without that, it's a little too pokey. It just grabs it, pulls it in, and sits right where it needs to sit. And it doesn't sound compressed. It almost reminds me, I don't know, not the same kind of compression at all, but it almost reminds me a little bit of what a Fairchild does. Whereas you can hit it.
Yeah.
And it never really sounds compressed. A Fairchild sounds way more smooth and buttery, but it's got that same kind of thing where you can just press it and it doesn't feel like, oh, wow, we're going too far.
Yeah, it doesn't sound smashed and unnatural.
Right. It's still, right. I guess that's the right word. It sounds natural.
Yeah. It's like what I was hearing with it too, again, is because that upper mid emphasis that you just get out of that when you're pushing, because I pushed the fader up on it all the way. And but when you take it out, you know, he's got a good voice, but when you put it in, that nice upper mid push that you get out of it just adds that clarity to it, that, you know what I mean? It's just a touch. I mean, we're not talking like a huge amount.
No, but it almost makes the vocal sound finished.
Yeah, exactly, like a polished, finished vocal, with that clarity in it that you didn't have without it. So it is. It's a very good. It's a good compressor across the whole board.
It is. It sounds good on just about everything. And again, when I was using the 500 modules, it was the same kind of thing. Anything you put it on, it sounds good. And it is. It's a nice. Yeah. It's so different to me than the LA2A as far as just the sound and the tonality, which is really, really great. So I think it's a good one. I mean, I was happy with the 500 series. I really love the look of this thing. I love the way that old classic looks. So I'm really happy with it.
And it's nice. It's nice to be able to see the meters.
Having the big VUs is really nice as well. It is really nice.
Yeah.
So that is a look and a listen at the Audio-Scape DA3A. Again, thank you so much to Chris and Trevor and Michael and all the guys and gals down at Audio-Scape. Thanks so much again for supporting what we do here. Without you guys, this studio would not be where it is today. We love Audio-Scape. They're great people and they make great products. The link will be in the description box for you guys to go check it out. And once again, thank you, James, for allowing us to use this session on YouTube. Once again, if you want to get the multi-tracks for Smile, make sure you click the link in the description box and go check out the Mixing Masterclass Volume 2. And you can get that. And there's a mixing contest associated with that as well. So check that out. Until the next video, I've been Dave and he's been Dave with Mixing Music Analog and mixingmusicanalog.com. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Take care, guys.